ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon. All right, so when I got an email from a good friend of mine who is someone to know out there in LA, she said, you need to speak to this next guest. And I said, okay, what does she do? And she said, she is the nanny to the stars. And that's all she had to say, because I was like, all right, done. I need to know. And then I looked it up. You're not talking about Courtney Cox, Laura Dern, Sheryl Crow, Kristen Davis, Julia Roberts. I mean, you talk about a starlet in Hollywood. Marva Soogrim has been in charge, and she's going to tell you all about how to get your house in order. Get your house in order every now. She's much nicer than I am. Marva Soogrim, welcome to the show.
Oh, so it's such a pleasure being with you.
I appreciate.
Thank you.
Well, before we talk about raising babies and I joke about getting your house in order. That's not your.
Yeah. No, but it's some of it is in there. Yeah.
Sure,
yeah.
But what I found so interesting about you is you're from Trinidad.
Yeah.
And you came here in the 1980s.
Yeah, 1980. Yes.
And you just showed up in New York City and became a nanny.
I know. That's because when I was between 14 and 16, I knew I was coming to do a big work, is what I, heard from within me, because I was asking questions. I was always curious as to, why am I here? What am I here for? Long before it, long before that became a thing.
Sure.
So,
yeah,
that was the answer. I was going to go across the ocean because I used to chat with the ocean. Being an island girl, you have just water around you, yes. Mother Earth. So I used to sit down and speak loud about, what should happen for me, and I felt, like a wave in my chest one day, like a wave. And from that came, you're going to cross the waters and do a big work. And so I got here, and of course I'm like, okay, where's my big work? And had no idea. I walked right into it. I went to school. I was, assigned to taking care of convalescent patients. And that was not for me, because the first lady I cleaned, I got like a spiritual kick across the room. She kicked me, but she was very old and frail. So it wasn't her. It was like, like God, the universe is saying, that's not where you should land. And so I started, taking care of babies and small children. And the word just started from 1981. People were just like, and to this day, to be honest, like, I still have to ask people, like, what do you get? I know what I give, and I know what I'm trying to, I'm trying to leave an imprint of, you can do this with as much calm and reverence as much as possible. And I have to say, I didn't know that as a young mom. I did it the old-fashioned way, more on the rugged side, and being a single mom and all. There's a lot of fear raising 3 boys and a girl. So my parenting was totally different and old-fashioned, and so that's not what I do. I have learned along the way, better ways. Kids have to be seen and heard, and that's not how we grew up. So yeah, and I fell right into my calling, and I didn't know.
You did, and as she mentioned, she has 4 children. You have 4 children of your own.
Yes, 3 boys and a girl.
3 boys and a girl. And what's so funny is I was gonna say to you, my mom is Italian. My mom's 100% Italian, and growing up, there was no quiet, calm. My mom was, but my grandparents, you think about like generation, and it's the same thing with stereotypically, you're from the island, and you think, island moms are tough. They're
That's
tough.
Right. Yeah.
They don't play. So when I was reading about your style and how you approach children, you reminded me a lot of my mom. My mom at a certain age she was a hairdresser and she gave that up and went to school to be early childhood teacher. And she
Yeah.
would say, children can make certain decisions. They'll tell you when they're hungry. They'll tell you when they need, they're people that have a personality.
Yeah. From day one. Yeah.
And you were talking, and it reminded me of that. Where did you come up with the idea that the calmness of the household and the feeling in the house really affects the behavior of the child?
I guess, having my own children and being there as much as I could have, because, I've been doing this work since I was 22. And, I realized down the road, I was rowdy. I was rowdy. I was very rowdy, by the way, just, to put it out there. I want to put all my bad news out. But I was rowdy and I was not a quiet person. And I mean, it wasn't me to be that, but I always fought that. I always fought that, who I really was meant to be. It was very scary for me. Because I didn't grow up in that. And I didn't want to be like soft and these babies softened me over the years, because I have learned that from day one, they start telling you, you start, getting all these cues about, I'm not feeling well. I can read a baby. I can't read a book so well, but damn, I can read a baby.
That's amazing. How did you balance your own children and then someone else's children in your life and your schedule?
I had to pull a village together because I knew early on, this was my calling. Because when 2 and 3 people that you've worked for is saying, get Marva, I realized that, and then people were saying to me, you're doing God's work, or you're doing what you were meant to do. And, it didn't resonate with me for a while. But what I did was I got a village together like real quick. I had, a couple of friends, and then, somebody would come up from Trinidad, a friend of mine, and her sister-in-law would help me. And always had, people around. I couldn't keep a relationship nor marriage because, Lord, I just said, I can only take care of babies is what I can do. I cannot do the husband and wife thing. It didn't work for me. They were like out the door because, are you trying to be Mother Teresa? But when you find out that there's a work that you were born to do, then if everybody wants to go, then they're welcome to it.
I understand that. I get it. And when you're working with, you gave your life to this career and to raise your children and other people's children. Now you see them. 81 is 40 years ago. So
yeah, when Rihanna sang "Work, Work, 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 Work," I'm like, that's my song. 2 days ago, one of my parents who I'd worked for 30 years ago, they called me. So when they called me, I'm like, I see their names and I'm like worried because why are they calling me? They call me to wish me a happy birthday. Monday coming will be my birthday. I'll be 65.
Oh my goodness, get out of here. You look amazing.
I'll be 65 years young. And so they called to wish me an early happy birthday and to tell me that one of their triplet sons are getting married. I was like, oh my God, I'm old.
That's what I'm saying. You raised these people into adults.
Yes. Yeah.
How did you, when you're working with high profile clients and famous family actors and rich lights, all etc., how do you blend in that you don't get involved in their personal life, but you're there to support them? Because you must see things and hear things. You're a very intimate part of their family. How do you separate the two from your life, that their family's going on and you're seeing things and they're famous?
Yeah. Well, one thing I know, that they're famous, but they're humans just like us. They're not exempt from all the things that we go through. So I respect someone's life. I do not get into their business. I make room for them to, to go through what they're going through. And if there's anything I can, any place I see where I can interject, just for positivity,
Sure.
I do that. But you have to know that you can do that. Otherwise, it can go south.
Sure.
But so they're humans first.
And I read that you say that you're not there to do the full job. You want them to be involved. You want, it's a collective unit. You're there to support them, but they are the parents.
Yeah, because when I walk out the door, when I get finished to go on to another family or to take a week rest or something, then they have to deal with it. They have to deal with it, and someone else is coming, so they would know what was going on, and all my celebrity parents are hands-on. The moment they get a break off stage or whatever they're doing, they're right there breastfeeding, walking their children. Dads in love, with their kids. So they're human beings, they're parents, and so you respect their stance in their family life and in their professional life, because they have hard lives. My life is not hard.
Sure. I get it.
Yeah.
I understand.
The demand for what they're doing. Yes, it looks all glamorous from on the outside, but they go through it. And I think sometimes they need to be more respected.
I agree. I totally.
Yeah.
It's a huge responsibility that doesn't.
Yeah.
And they have families, and they're trying to juggle everything as well.
Yes.
Goodness, I need to have kids now, Marva, but I need a second job to be able to afford you to come take care of them. I said, tell us what came up.
Send me a message. Don't worry.
What did you come up with the idea to come up with marvelousbabies.com? What can we do when we go on here? We could send you a message. We can, what is this business that you created literally out of nothing?
I know. So I said I know, and then I would say this is out of my years of experiences I've had in mind for the longest while to honor my calling, and part of that is to be able to help tons and tons of people around the world that is not able to hire me, but I'm accessible to the world now. I'm accessible to the world of new parents, and I think everybody could get something from what from what I have to offer.
Well, I have so many friends of mine who I have no children. I mean, I teach 75 children a day, but I don't have children of my own. And that's one thing, because I get to have fun with them, teach them, and ship them back at home. But when they're home, I've had so many parents, friends of mine that are parents at 2:00 in the morning. The baby's crying. I don't know why. I don't know how to breastfeed my baby. I don't know what to do with them. I don't, and they reach out, and some people don't have moms or moms that are available, or you don't have the answer. So now you can go that has raised babies, and you're able to reach out and get some help from you.
Yes, and I'll be starting some lives coming up. My website is getting a new face. So once that comes in probably like another week, then I'll start doing lives, IG Live, where people can come on, and I can do it I'll be doing it with parents at times, and you can ask questions, and there'll be tons of ways to reach me, and those things are gonna interact with me, and I want to hold the parent's hand to say, listen to me, I've been in the trenches, that's where I live, and I can be of some help to you.
Absolutely. So what is the questions when people find out what you do or they recognize you? What are the most common questions and concerns that parents usually have?
I think the most common question would be, when is my baby going to sleep through the night? When am I going to get rest? I said, well, I would say I have lost so much sleep over the past 41 years that I think I can help so many people not lose that amount of sleep.
That is going to save a lot of people a lot of
divorce. It's going to save a lot of marriages, relationships, because it's going to put a dent in that overtiredness, and then you can't stand your spouse the next day. And I'm going to help people to really learn how to vibe like I do with these babies and parents.
Yeah, I as a school teacher, people always ask me, what is your relation? Why do the kids have a good relationship with you? I say, they're human beings. They catch your energy. They know right away how you feel and how you feel about them. If you ever walked into a room and met somebody and you have a great chemistry with them, or you get well, if you give to a baby or a young, or if I teach 5th grade, they're 10, they right away, they can get they read you right from the go. They know and the same with the baby. It's all about your approach. That's what I was so fascinated, because your approach is not of this. Your approach is of this. And we need that so much, Marva, especially after COVID and all we've been through.
I know, because I realized that, I realized after my children and I started taking care of other people's children, I realized how real different children are. You have your own children and say, this is what's for dinner. You didn't realize that somebody didn't like corned beef, or somebody that didn't like wings, or somebody, I'm calling out on my gourmet foods that I made back in the day. I didn't realize. So it's like you realize, oh my God, somebody didn't like elbow macaroni. They like something else. And so I have to hand it to my children, man. Those people went through it in terms of having a mom who didn't know squat, and I had to learn the hard way, and they had to learn the hard way. So they still talk to me, so that's a good thing.
Do you have grandchildren?
I have 10 grandchildren.
What is it like watching your kids raise their kids?
Well, to be honest, I don't get to see them as much.
Sure.
But their kids are in good hands. That I know.
I'm sure of that. I know.
Yeah. Their kids are in good hands. They never one time called me to ask me how to change a diaper. They just it's in them,
How do you?
Yeah, go ahead.
How do you take care of yourself with I know people who work in service industries like yours. If it's elder care, if it's child care, it's a very selfless physical job. So
one time I was working with a client of mine, and I'm in the house a lot, and I came outside, a very famous movie star, and I came outside, and she looked at me and she said, "Oh my God." She called up her people, take care of this woman. I had beard and mustache just growing out. And she said, "No, you have to take care of yourself." And she would send me every now and then to the Shutters Hotel in Santa Monica to have, R&R and some really good pampering and stuff. But yeah, I have great clients, I have to say, and they, okay, Marva, your massage is coming. So I have people who, you need some new sneakers. I would get 3 pair of sneakers because I walk a lot, 5-6 miles a day sometimes. And so I have people who also take care of me, help to take care of me.
Well, I say this in my classroom to parents every single year. You leave me your most prized possession. I'm in charge. More than money, more than fame, more than your house, more than your car. You leave me your child. And Marva, for you to have the trust of these parents, this is not a small thing. This is their most prized possession too. So you have such an anointed, special spirit to be able to take care of all these babies and to raise them into being the wonderful people that they grow up to be.
Yeah, and I'm so honored to do that and to be a part of that change in the world.
We need it more than ever. And I bet you're still a little rowdy, Marva. I bet you still get down.
Yeah, well, I love, I love to dance, and, I don't know why Rihanna didn't take me up for the halftime, man. I would have.
You're an island girl, just like her. I know you can get down like she can.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I still have my, spunky spirit. That's not going anywhere.
That's never.
But I'm professional and I know how to, get my work done. I've traveled the world, and I mean, it's just, it's hard work, by the way. It's hard work. You have to unpack when you get there. You're taking care of you have to know that, the things you need, because certain parts of the world you go, certain things we won't get.
Right.
And so there's a whole lot going on here, and then mentally, spiritually, you have to be nurturing those, babies. And, it's a whole, it's a delicious soup.
Ah, that's a great way to put it. It's a delicious soup.
Yeah.
Look, I know so many people who have brand new babies or young children, and if you're watching right now and you want to talk to the best who's been doing it for everybody right here, you need to go to marvalusbabies.com is the website, and you could go to marvalusbabies on Instagram. She'll be doing
Yeah.
videos, send a message, send it. You could have a consultation. All of those things are available to you on the
Yeah.
Instagram and on the website.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Goodness, I'm ovulating. I'm gonna have a baby now after this conversation.
Yeah, and just hit me up.
I'll,
Slip into my DM.
I'll slide into you wouldn't be the first one, Marva.
Wonderful, Robert.
I'm just gonna say, here, please help me take this baby.
Yeah, I'll be happy to help.
It's such a pleasure and an honor to speak to you. Thank you for sharing all these tips of the tool and trade that you've learned with us all, because you're going to make a better generation of parents and children. So it's God's work, truly. Thank you for sharing with all of this.
You're welcome, and thank you for having me.